Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named SHARON, titled Hackers Hospital. And if we switch over to here, we have this on MusicBee. Now, my understanding is that SHARON is the founder of MusicCures.ai, so it's good to know that going into it. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. So just a couple of things before we start. Apparently, they've also set up a Hackers Hospital website as well, link in the description. And also, we're going to be giving this song an overall score out of 10 based on various musical criteria at the end. But let's go, let's do it. Hackers Hospital.
They are rich but never win. Beefs that only spin. They fight wars that can't be won. Living in a conundrum.
Interesting jazz extensions there.
How to build something. They only imitate. Nothing sold, no product used. Nothing viable, nothing true. Every pitch deck's a confession. Every round's a regression. All that money burns for show. You can't find what you don't know. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital, where the cure is truth and it's optional. You can't think love without capital. I know how Scam Altman got the Stargate deal. I know how Scamio Daniel Gross got it for him. I know how they created the hell space we live in. One of these days someone will cash in and hear me tell how they hacked their way to the hell scale we live in. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. They are rich but never win.
Okay.
Thieves that only spin.
It's a satisfying loop.
Fight wars that can't be won. Living in a conundrum. They can't see how to build something. They only imitate. Nothing sold, no product used. Nothing viable, nothing true. Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate deal. Losers from Trashville is all they'll ever be. Like the organized crime groups they collected data on. With the Palantir drones that were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals. Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate. Losers from Trashville is all they'll ever be. Like the organized crime groups they collected data on. With the Palantir drones that were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals. Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate deal. Losers from Trashville is all they'll ever be. Like the organized crime groups they collected data on.
The subtle vocal
Palantir
harmonies
drones
in
that
there.
were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals.
So just to pause for a sec, this is a 7-minute long track. And I think I've kind of got the gist of what the track's about at this point. So from a compositional perspective, we then had the choice of continuing a similar motif for the remainder of the track, or adjusting the angle or installing a new chapter. This could be a really good place, for example, to have like a B-side, like have 2 tracks in one, where like you have a different option or a different angle, maybe a preferable situation, a scenario post the Sam Altman stuff that they're discussing in there. We will see though. Oh. There you go. Bit of adjustment there, that's nice.
Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate. Losers from Trashville is all they'll ever be. Like the organized crime groups they collected data on. With the piloted drones that were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals. I know how Scam Altman got the Stargate deal.
Oh,
I know
okay.
how Samuel Daniel Gross got it for him. I know how they created the hellspace we live in. One of these days someone will cash in and give me tell how they hacked their way to the hellscale we live in. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. They are rich, but never win. Thieves that only spin. They fight wars that can't be won. Living in a conundrum, they can't see how to build something. They only imitate. Nothing sold, no product used. Nothing viable, nothing true. Every pitch takes a confession. Every round's a regression. All that money burns for show. You can't fund what you don't know. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital, where the cure is truth and it's optional. You can't fake love without capital. You can't scale what's not logical. You're rich, but you never win. Thieves that only spin amid the crash. Take your medicine. Hackers Hospital is open again. Open again. Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate deal. Losers from Trashville is all they'll ever be. Like the organized crime groups they collected data on. With the piloted drones that were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals. Losers from Trashville who got the Stargate deal.
Yeah, this is
Trashville is all they'll ever be.
yeah.
The organized crime groups they collected data on. With the piloted drones that were over New York, New Jersey. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You sold out your country for a Stargate deal. Check yourselves into Hackers Hospital. You'll be losers from Trashville, just like the criminals.
So that was Hackers Hospital from SHARON. Okay, we're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named SHARON titled Hackers Hospital, where we're going to talk about a few things that I appreciated about the track, as well as any applicable constructive critique on my part, and also just how I generally felt about this track from like a listening perspective, just as myself personally. So I also want to mention that I gave the song an overall score of 7.1 out of 10, which I feel is a reasonable score, with some highlights in the rhythm and coloration section, which we'll talk about in a moment. So first of all, what do we think this track is about? My limited understanding, given that I'm not super knowledgeable on the whole AI deals and what companies are doing which and which, I know a couple of people that were mentioned here, but I don't know enough to sort of have a strong comment or opinion on it. It's discussing how they know how the AI landscape, or at least part of it, was constructed, how the deals are made. You can see I've got, like, if we go back here, like in the art, should I say, you can see like drones and image and everything like that. And I think it's about like AI surveillance and stuff like that, and people checking into the Hackers Hospital and stuff like that. And yeah, I think there'll be an audience of people, maybe not a huge one, but enough that will be interested in what's going on with these dealings to want to hear more about what SHARON has to say about it. So yeah, this track, if I was to talk about a few things that I liked about it, I think the main sort of motif with the really satisfying jazzy lo-fi kind of chord progression was really nice. It was just very kind of classy, chic, and sophisticated. And kudos to Sharon in this track, 7 minutes long. It was a very consistent, similar bass line and progression the entire time. It was presented in a variety of different ways, don't get me wrong. There was variety with the instrumental layering, the pace and rhythm of certain parts. And it kind of worked similarly like to an extended mix, like you would when you do like DJing or something like that. So I can appreciate it from that perspective. We just had a lot of it. But what I think that was my favorite part was the music. I liked the sound of those synths, the way they were processed, the way they were put forward. I feel like there was a really interesting sound to the kick drums as well as the snare claps and stuff like that. I like that the drums weren't constant the entire time. I feel that there was enough range compositionally to cover a lot of the 7 minutes, maybe not all of it. As I mentioned, around the halfway part where I talked about it either switching up or doing the same thing again, I'm glad that we did adjust and have a bit of difference there, or differentiation. But I still think we could have potentially have gone and discussed different things. But if I meet the track at its level, I try to understand it for what it is. It just seems like Sharon really wanted to tell us that story and really get it ingrained in our heads. And I think in that approach, it makes sense. I mean, if you had a change of chord progression or something like that, it might have been a bit confusing for the overall kind of like messaging there. So I get it. I get it. I think in general, though, some of the production decisions, such as the way things faded out or were filtered or how things were leveled in the mix, was generally very good. I like the clarity of a lot of the synth bass and percussive elements, as well as the way that the vocals were done a lot of the time. I feel like they weren't too sort of sharp or shrill or anything like that. Things kind of sounded like they would be from a track that you'd assume to be within the genre. I feel like there's a lot to appreciate here from that perspective. There weren't any weird resonant frequencies. There were moments where you could just kind of sit with the track, or it wasn't as constant, and it was a bit more kind of like dusky night sky, and it was kind of relaxing to listen to. If I'm honest, I liked the parts the most where it was mainly just the music. I feel like there were some really cool decisions made there, especially when the synths went on the side there. The stereo field was explored. But that was primarily because by the time we got to that second half, we'd heard the story enough repeated in several moments to kind of know the story by that point. And we could kind of get behind that. And I think it's kind of the music, the style or genre of it with those synth, that kind of house-ish kind of decision there was smart. You can kind of walk along and step and kind of dance to it, I suppose, like you would in a nightclub, but then it's almost talking about the dystopia that surrounds us at this point. So it's an interesting sort of juxtaposition there. And I think just the moodiness of the lower mid-range resonances with occasional highs there, I just think it sounds very sleepy sounding, but in like a positive way. Like it isn't trying to sort of like overwhelm or kind of like blow your head off or anything like that. It's just, it pumps. I think the slow burn that you get as you progress through the track with that adjustment where it matters most, like at the halfway point, which is really it was really clever, I suppose. It's good that we knew to have that change at that point. In terms of constructive critique, I feel like we had the story within the first 3 minutes. I'm not really sure if we needed to have the remaining 3 minutes of it. I think that if we wanted to, from a musical perspective, it might have been good to sort of further elaborate on some of the story they were telling at the start. But I think, again, there is a shorter version of this, if I'm not mistaken, so I am listening to the extended mix. I feel like a radio edit of this would be just as compelling and maybe more sort of accessible to your average listener. But as I said, there is variety enough compositionally to a certain extent to be able to sort of justify it. And I think that if there was more range to the story, if we had gone for a different angle in that second half lyrically, it would have been what we needed. From like a listener's perspective, in terms of like how I felt after listening to the track, it's simply that I don't necessarily relate to what they're talking about. I think that again, for myself, just personally, I hear this and it's almost sort of like Sharon is trying to sort of address, maybe in a way that would be menacing to Sam Altman or someone like that involved within this situation. But as someone who's unfamiliar with it, I hear it and I go, I appreciate that you might have some additional information, but I don't know how to validate with that within the song. I think if if I was sort of less curious and more kind of, yeah, I'll just take your word for it, it would be more impactful. But I nonetheless appreciate that we're trying to do something different story-wise, and I wish them the best of luck in their endeavor. Because that's effectively my review of this track from an act named SHARON, titled Hackers Hospital. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via the various social medias. And I'm sure this has been on digital stream platforms and also website. Stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever. Thought it'd be crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.